From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. Hey yo, heart of a villain beats hard in the centrifuge. Bearded BP, 100 interviews. All it takes is 2 mics and 1 line. This is Bearded Villains podcast worldwide. Driving cross countries, getting ball tires. Fam across ponds, always inspired. Chapters connect, and then it's on fire. Check your phone, cause BV is like a live wire. They said that we couldn't do it and that another could. Never underestimate the power of brotherhood. Every bro, every chapter, every caption. Heart of a villain, bro. Lights, camera, action. Action, action, action. Let's go. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Thursday night edition of The Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the Bearded Villains Worldwide Brotherhood and the lives they are changing all over the world. Tonight, guys, I have an in-studio guest for only the second time ever. I wish it could happen more often, but up here in northern Indiana, sometimes it's hard to get people to come. Either that or they just don't like me. I'm not sure which. It may be a both. It may be a little bit of both. But my guest in studio tonight doesn't have a choice because he's my co-captain. So we're trying to get word out last minute about our event again. And so he's coming in studio to talk to us a little bit about, I'm going to do the whole interview thing like I normally do. Instead of just me telling you about the event, we're going to go back and forth a little bit about the event and what it all is. So I've had a little bit of an oops this week. Not really an oops on my end, but just with difficult scheduling and all. I really hoped that I could get a hold of our Utah captain or somebody with Utah to talk about their event. And I wasn't able to get a hold of or try and reach out to them until earlier today. And I tried to reach out and couldn't get a hold of anybody until just a couple minutes ago. Just to find out that things are going very well for them for their event this weekend. But I don't know that I'm going to have a way to get them on to talk to them about their event for this weekend. So that's unfortunate. The other thing that I said I was hoping to be able to do would be able to talk after the fact with a few of the guys from some of the events from last weekend. If you were paying attention to Instagram or anything else, you noticed that there were other events other than the 2 that we interviewed about. The one in Pennsylvania, the one in Arizona. There was also the Florida Summit. There was also Poutine Fest. There's a few different things going on, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to get interviews with everybody. But we are going to talk a little bit about at least Poutine Fest because they had some kind of cool stuff going on and some fun. They just had an awesome time, and so I look forward to just sharing a little bit of some photos. And you can go out to their Instagram page, Montreal's Instagram page. They've got several videos up there. One is very funny. We'll just get into that here in just a few minutes. But thank you guys so much for being here. If you are a first-timer here, click the little subscribe button if you're watching us live. If you are one of the staunch survivors that is here from the beginning, listening to us after the fact on a standard podcast platform, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. You guys have brought the overall scope of this here show to darn near 24,000 downloads now of this show. So no, we're not Joe Rogan. We're not super huge, but hey, in our own little way, we're doing something. So I appreciate you guys more than you know. Let's take a second to say hello to the people that are here hanging out with us now. And I just want to say hi to them. They are here with us live, as they always are, on a Thursday night. And you know what? Since there's Thursday night football now, there's other things you could be doing. So, and there's actually, it looks like it's going to be a decent game tonight, maybe. Last 2 Thursdays have been pretty stinky. JD Moore, how you doing, buddy? He's on fire. Look at that right there. JD Moore, fire. Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Rababa, he says his traditional good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you, sir. It's early over there. Santa, Mr. Graybeard, how you doing, Robert? Good to see you here. he is busy cooking up a storm, I think, or doing some sauce work, he says, for our event this weekend. Forge, how you doing? Good to see you here as well. Scrolling through here, K-Mac, BVENC is in the house as well. Yeah, I just like saying that handle instead of everything else that you know. Donald, Donnie, you gotta change that every time. It makes me crazy every time I see Donna Duck. I know it's you, Donnie. Good to see you here as well. Going through here, Tim is here hanging out with us as Buddy. Buddy is on the road on his way up here. Can't wait to see you this weekend, buddy. Josh is hanging out with us as well. Who else am I seeing in here? I saw some other people. Seth, how you doing? Good to see you. Iggy, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you here as well. And we got a whole cast of characters here. And, of course, we got Ed here live in the studio. And he's just hanging out, waiting for his turn, just chilling over there on the sexy red leather couch. So we'll be talking to Ed here in just a few minutes. Well, guys, I want to take a few seconds and do what we traditionally do here, talk about some chapter merch, talk about some chapter news. There's some, not so much news where we're going to be congratulating chapters on some things, but I just want to get out what they're doing right now because there's a couple chapters that are doing some things that we can help out with. And, of course, I want to get the word out so maybe we can do just that. With no further ado, let's get into our chapter merch. Okay, forgot to unmute myself there. All right, let's get into it. First off, and I'm looking at my screen, my overhead screen at a little different angle tonight. So if it looks crazy that I'm looking weird into the camera, I apologize. So first up is the Louisiana chapter. Louisiana villains have a new chapter charity patch come out, and it's their OG logo, but it's got a little bit of a, looks like a puzzle piece hat on. So very hard to see in this picture, but you get up close to it, it's very cool. $12, LouisianaBeardedVillains.com. Looks like some sort of an autism-related patch, just a charity patch is what they describe it as. But LouisianaBeardedVillains.com is where you can go for that guy. $12 is your cost. Next up, we still have, to my knowledge, there's still these Georgia bearded villain, the North Georgia bearded villain patches available in 3 different styles. I'm not sure what they call it. Each one of these guys has a name, and I don't remember. Maybe I'm terrible for not knowing each individual patch's name. But there are 3 different variations for this scary Halloween season. Available at ngbv.org. ngbv.org for the North Georgia Bearded Villains patches, $10 each. Or if you buy all 3, you get a discount of $5. BV Pennsylvania East, I think we talked last week about this event, and they had a really successful time, some cool photos and fun stuff that came out of this event last week. But BV Pennsylvania East, I believe, still may have some of their patches, their horror patches, or their haunted railway patches. Their haunted railway patches. $10 with $2 domestic shipping and $5 international shipping. So check those guys out, and they're available at PennsylvaniaVillainsEast.BigCartel.com. PennsylvaniaVillainsEast.BigCartel.com. Next up, we have BV New York Upstate collabing with ENC. BV New York Upstate collabing with ENC. They've got their diabetes awareness hoodie, T-shirt, and patch. Couldn't fit them all on the same page here. So the hoodie is $36. The T-shirt is $25, and the patch is $12. So package them all together, and you get whatever you get when you add up all 3 of those numbers. I don't know what that is, and I'm not going to do the math for you right now. I don't know if you get a discount for that or not. I'm not going to speak for that. But, hey, go out and buy some diabetes awareness stuff from BV, ENC, and NYUS. It's all available at bvnewyorkupstate.bigcartel.com. bvnewyorkupstate.bigcartel.com. Next up, and brand new this week, is the BV Nova Jingle Beard patch. The Jingle Beard patch. Bright and sunny colors. Bright, bold red, green, and white. Has the bearded logo on it. The Jingle Beard patch is $9. $9. Available at bvnova.bigcartel.com. bvnova.bigcartel.com. It is a 3-inch patch. Proceeds for that patch will be going to Toys for Tots. Next up, the Blackshire villains. I have not spoken with anybody to see if they still have. These have been out for a couple weeks, and it's my fault. I didn't have them on here, but I want to put them on there now. In the event that they still have some of these available, Blackshire Villains Halloween patch. It is a Ouija board, if you don't know any better. It's a Ouija board patch. Ooh. You're playing with the devil if you buy this patch. Look out. No, it's just the Blackshire Villains patch. It's available at blackshirevillains.bigcartel.com if there are some available. blackshirevillains.bigcartel.com. Yes, we do have a lot of merch this week, boys and girls. Next up, the Bearded Villains South Mississippi ring is still available all month long, as far as I know, on a pre-order. $50, sizes 6 to 16, including half sizes. It's available at southmsvillains.bigcartel.com. Next up, West Virginia. Now, I'm going to pause for just a second while I have this on here because I got to tell a little funny story of our old buddy Larry from West Virginia. He hits me up, and this is kind of a funny story, so I don't mind sharing it. He hit me up last night asking me to, hey, can you share our stuff about our releases that we're doing honoring veterans? And I'm like, dude, yeah, of course. You mean these, the two that I've been doing already for this last 2 weeks? So he said, yeah, thanks. So what we have here is drop number 3, and I've already shared the first 2 with you, but they're all available out there at bvwv.bigcartel.com. The first one was Army. Second one was Air Force. This one is Navy. This week is the Navy drop. Now, I did get a little clarification from him because the page that is popped up, the little flyer sheet that shows up, it says $11 each. So the $11 each fee is the price for the patch. Each one of the patches is $11. T-shirts matching the patches are available for a upcharge, and they range in price depending on your size. So if you want the shirt to match the patch, go to bvwv.bigcartel.com for all of the above and enjoy it. Next up, brand new this week on a pre-order from the Rocket City Villains, the Veterans Patch. The Vet Patch, $12. It's their standard colorful logo, but the background has been completely changed. It looks like to desert camo. So interesting take. So now it looks like the Rocket's just flying around a desert camo backdrop or planet or something. But anyway, big bold colors, Rocket City Villains. You can get it at rocketcitybv.bigcartel.com. Wow. And then finally, we have, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to pause for just a second because, well, we'll mention this later. We'll mention this one later. But the last one I want to mention is not specific to a chapter. I mentioned this once before. This is just a heads up. Later in the probably 2 weeks from now, sometime in the first part of November, this bad boy supporting the documentary film I'm working on will be available for pre-sale on the main Bearded Villains page. That's right. The documentary film t-shirt, proceeds going back to me with the documentary film to get this thing completed and everything, and all the associated costs for the film. The t-shirt was designed, the logo for this was designed by Chris up in Canada, Chris Badurka. Very cool. We have the tagline for the film on this. It says, "Every villain has a story." So it's just the teaser shirt based off of, drumroll please, the teaser poster. Woo! See, it all adds up, boys and girls. It all adds up. We're going to come back over here. Whoops, I'm going all over the place here now. Look at that. The teaser poster goes along with it. Well, not with it. It's not for sale with it. We're going to be selling these separate, but keep your eyes out down the road. Probably within the next 2 weeks, these will be up and at 'em available to help support the show, the documentary film. Okay, that's it for merch this week, guys. A haphazard way of going around and doing things. You know it. We love it. That's merch. I got to stop hitting mute. Okay, so real quick, just get into our chapter news so we can talk a little bit about what's going on in different chapters right now. Let's do that. All right. So first up, I want to give a shout out to Bearded Villains Montreal for last weekend's Poutine Fest. Now, please, this picture, I could not load up all the videos and all the funny stuff, but there are a ton of different videos that came out from this past weekend. That is what looks to be about a 3x3 table that they're sitting at. And there's like 6 guys sitting around this table with a very, very large bowl of poutine. I'm not sure how many pounds of it are in there, but it's a lot. And this picture is the image of the boys from the host chapter in Montreal getting ready for their turn at everybody diving into this bowl of poutine and eating it as quickly as they can. You go out there and look at the videos. The guys from Toronto, I believe, took home the crown this year, and they wiped the floor with everybody. Basically, they beat everybody by well over a minute from everything I've seen. It may have been even been closer to 2. So I'm getting comments. I'm getting a comment in this section saying Josh believes it's 10 pounds of poutine per. Can you 10 pounds? Oh man, I hope that's not real, but it might be. Anyway, it's a lot, and these guys. It's just a credit anyone that wants to get into this thing, because that's just a gut punch puke fest waiting for you after the fact. I think I've had poutine once up there in Canada, and I consider myself an eater. Look at me. And I just had enough to put on a half of a plate, and it was very filling. So I'm not sure what I would do with that. You might look at me and think, yeah, I want you on my team. I don't think you do. Not for that. But congratulations, guys. Montreal, another successful Poutine Fest. It culminated in some craziness, and there was a brother from New York that had a bet with a brother from Canada about whose team would do better, and the brother from Canada ended up getting a frowny face tattoo on his butt because he lost the bet. There's video out there of it, so go out there to the Montreal page on Instagram and find out more about that. Pretty funny stuff, guys. Next up, got to give a shout-out to Bearded Villains ENC. They participated in a Beardtoberfest Beard Comp. Beardtoberfest Beard Comp. Raising money to fight breast cancer this past weekend. Shout out to you guys. Congratulations. They had a bunch of guys show up and help out with this thing, so good job. BVIN, Bearded Villains Indiana, they have an event coming up. Well, it's not so much specifically an event as they are raising money to help the homeless. They are trying to gather sleeping bags, blankets, cold weather clothing, and toiletries. So you can send money or donations to them. They have their PayPal available on their IG page link, so you can send them donations directly. Bearded Villains Indiana, they're doing this on the 5th of November. And then finally, BVC, Bearded Villains Chicago. They're doing a shoe drive currently going on October 8th. It's through through November 12th. And they have drop-off locations, but hit up any of the BVC guys because they will take donations as well so that they can go out and buy things. They have a wish list available that you can go to and buy stuff for a wish list for them. But they're buying shoes gently, very gently, and preferably brand new shoes to give out. So really cool stuff they got going on in Chicago. And that is what I've got right now for chapter news. All right. So where do we go from here? This is normally where I would play a video for you of some interview, and we would just have some fun and sit back. This is the time of the show where I play an interview and I just chill, and I get to watch the TV behind me and just sit back with a drink for 15 or 20 minutes while I play the video. Well, that can't happen tonight, sadly, because I have a person in studio that we're going to be talking to about our event this weekend. That's right. I'm talking about the Return of Ezra Crow here in northern Indiana. It is a beard competition, costume contest, magic show, raffles, auction, other stuff going on It's a full night of entertainment. It's a show, boys and girls. You don't want to miss it. If there's any way you can find your way to Northern Indiana, to Hobart, Indiana, Saturday night, well, Saturday evening, find your way there. Find your way there. If you want to fly into Chicago, grab a ride with the Chicago guys. It's 45 minutes, 30 minutes away. Piece of cake. But it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. To hear tonight, to talk with me about our event, some of the struggles, some of the fun, some of the details that we have, because I want to have somebody else on to talk about it a little bit, so it's not just me talking about the event and then everybody just disappears. You know, we're going to shed some limelight on a person that really doesn't like the limelight, and it's funny and it cracks me up that he's going to have to be here to talk with me and be on camera about it. And of course, I'm talking with Ed Sanner, the co-captain of Bearded Villains Northern Indiana. Ed, can you hear me over there?
Yes, I can hear you. And we should probably start this by apologizing because we wanted John to come do this, who's our entertainer in the chapter, and he's busy getting ready to entertain everyone on Saturday. So then we tried to get Donnie to come and do this, and also an entertainer within the chapter, and he's too busy getting ready to entertain on Saturday, so you're stuck with me.
Yeah, and look at this. We didn't even plan it, but it looks like on the camera I'm actually looking towards your picture that we have. And I didn't plan it this way, but it works
It's
out.
almost professional, really.
It's almost is. And then we got the wide shot that doesn't even show up when I do that. So we're going to go back to this guy here. But let's see if I can do my wide shot. Yeah, see what happens when I do that? I'm just playing around here now. All right, so let's see. See, now I screwed things up.
You broke it. You
I
went and broke it.
Now I got you live, and I got to fix it here. So let's do this, and we're going to add.
Now you're split in half.
Add back in here with this guy. Nope, that's not the one I want. That's the one I want. See, I could do this all live because it's fun and it's easy. All right, so we've.
I don't remember it going this poorly for Marsala. I'm just throwing it out there, you know.
Well, you know, I only had one camera.
I can see where I rank and all.
I only had one camera on him for sure. So normally I would talk to guys and say, you know, tell me about the. I mean, I know how the year's gone. I know how preparation's gone, but let's just talk for a second because not everybody's done one of these competition things before, and our chapter, it's like I'm preaching to the choir, but just to let everybody know a little bit, our chapter has grown pretty dramatically in the last year, pretty much doubled in size in the last year and a half since we started a chapter in 2020. And we hosted this event the first time last year. And growing off of this past year, what do you think were some of the lessons learned that we can kind of share from last year moving forward that we took into consideration as we said we're going to be doing this again the next year?
I think last year, the biggest takeaway for me was not delegating anything. I was so worried there was going to be a problem that I tried to take as much onto myself as I could. The night of the event itself, I was running around like a crazy person. And a lot of the guys came up to me after the fact and said, you need to use the troops. You need to lean on us, let us carry the load. And I don't know how you feel about this, but it's more stressful doing that. When it came time for, you know, the trophies, which were started by Robert, picked up midway through by Tim, and finished by Forge. Now I've got 3 guys where I'm sure they're all ready to kill me, because every day I'm sending them, are those done? How they look? Can you send me a picture? And I'm sure they're just losing their minds. I'm sure Little John has had it up to here with, you know, he's a professional magician, a professional entertainer, and I'm calling him to make sure he's on point, and I'm sure he's ready to just murder me in my sleep. You know, Tim went through and designed the patches and, you know, our World Tour T-shirt and a lot of other things he's done graphic-wise for us throughout the year. And I'm sure he gets tired of hearing from both me and you. You know, can you change this? This colors might not work so great. How about this? Okay, never mind, change it back. Donnie has been a trooper because he's put up with, again, the same thing. He's hand drawing Ezra. He's making all these changes on the fly. And you can just sometimes hear that frustration of, what is it you want exactly? Because, and of course, I've got to tell him I have no idea what I want. Just that's not it. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, but the guys throughout the chapter, they've been incredible. I think one of the greatest things, and I'm just going to brag about the chapter a little bit, is our guys in our chapter, we're legitimately friends. When we say, we're family, we mean that. We meet up with each other all the time. And I think that makes a big difference when you have that connection. So, but this year, my biggest obstacle has been trying to stay out of it, which is very difficult when you're used to being knee deep in it all the time.
Yeah, that's definitely been one of the struggles I've had this year too, because we did notice that last year. We said, it wasn't so much that we really took on we did. We took on a lot last year to make sure that XYZ was done. And to our credit, we were able to still have a successful event. And I say to our credit, not yours and mine, but the chapter's credit. We were still able to do that even after we put ourselves in a position to fail miserably by doing just that. As you say, we took on so much ourselves. We didn't delegate real well because we had a vision for what we kind of wanted to do as the officers of last year. And we said, but we didn't, when you don't know everybody's skill set, I think that was part of our issue, is that we didn't really know everybody's skill set, and we didn't know that it was okay to trust other people to have control over something. Because you want, when it's your name on it, as far as the captain or co-captain of the chapter, you concern yourself with just that.
I think a lot of it is, most villains you meet are men's men. That's, doesn't matter what it is, I can handle it, I can fix it, I can break it, I can do whatever you need me to do. And for us to go, I need help. I need someone to you start thinking that's a sign of weakness, saying I can't do something. And that's difficult in a men's club when you're dealing with, like I've said it 100 times, there's 20 guys in our chapter, and all 20 of them could be captain tomorrow, and everything would be just fine.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with 20 alpha males, to go to one of them and say, hey, I can't handle this, can you help me with it? That's like, oh my, I just hurt myself, you know? So to make that move, I think this year, we're going to be much more successful. I think everything's going to be much more polished. It was actually one of the guys in the chapter pointed out to me, when you wear 10 hats, you can only give each thing 10%. Whereas if you wear one hat, you can give 100%. So we tried to spread that love this year, and I think it's been very successful.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love the fact that guys have been able to take ownership of certain things this year and really put their stamp on something within the realm of the planning stages of this thing. And to each one of their credit, the guys that have stepped up and said, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, they have really they've taken great pride in. It's been very refreshing to see that when asked to do something, or when asked to step up, when they ask to step up, that if I want to take something on, there's great pride with it. And it's not a sense of I have to do this, it's a sense of I want to do this. And that difference is all the difference in the world for us to be successful in what we want to do. And I hear that and I'm sure you do as well, in captain's chat. Sometimes you hear, other captains and other officers talking about the fact that, you only have one or two guys that really want to do this. Other guys have to be told. And then even then it's a fight, that we have to do this together. And we've been very fortunate with so many of our guys that the entire chapter is just like, I want. And I love that part.
Yeah, I agree. And the diversity in our chapters is insane, that we all get along as well as we do. We've got, every economic background. We've got guys that are hardcore atheists. We've got a preacher, and they can sit at the same table and get along perfectly and break bread and drink beer and get along fine. We've got guys that are pushing 60 We've got guys that are 22, and we've got a father and son in the chapter, and it doesn't become an issue, which is something I think is truly special about our chapter. Like I said, we're all friends, which is great.
Well, getting into this year, when in the preparations for this year, and I think this is where it's kind of when you get into the nitty gritty stuff when you start planning for these things. That's, I think, where you really learn how to make your event the most successful it can. You and I have been very fortunate this past year because we have attended so many different other chapters events, and every time we come back from those, or even in most cases, it seems like even at the event, we're sitting down talking and we're looking around the room and we're, talking to ourselves. I really like the way this was done. I'm not so sure I wouldn't do it this way. I see why that's causing a problem, or wow, I really love the way they're doing this thing. And looking back on the different events that we've been at this year, and we won't get into obviously any of the downsides, the negatives, but there's been a lot of positives that we've seen at other events. What are some of those that you've seen from other events that you really liked about them to take forward?
I think you hit on the key word right there, which was event. We go to lots of beard comps where that's what it is. It's a beard comp. Everybody goes up on stage, does their thing, whatever the case may be. But we've been to some this year that what was going on the stage was almost, who cares? Yeah, I mean, even in the ones I was competing in, I was not really all like at Nash Vegas. There was stuff going on the stage. I was on the stage and I could honestly didn't really care because there was other stuff going on. World Meet, obviously that's another huge one where
when you weren't outside.
Well, all right, so I might drink a little bit and disappear when it's my turn to be on stage. Whatever.
We got past that though.
Yeah, I mean we've got Josh to come find me. It's fine. Yeah, Josh has had to come find me a few times. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, you look at World Meet and all the different stuff they did when, it wasn't just a beard comp on stage. They had a performance. They had all kind of neat things going on. Beards for Bucko. I can't speak any higher about that event where, honestly, I don't even know if anybody saw the beard comp, if they weren't involved directly if that wasn't their thing, because there was so many different things to do. And that really motivated me to want our event to be an event. It's not just a beard comp. It's going to have to be more than that. And I think that's something that you're going to start seeing more and more chapters doing. Don't plan a beard competition. Plan a good time for your friends. And it happens to have a beard comp at it as well.
Yeah. That's one of the things that in talking to a lot of the international chapters in the last couple of years, I've noticed when I speak to them about their events, they may have a beard comp, but they always kind of sidestep it, and we're like, yeah, and then we're just going to have a beard comp. But they have this. We're going to be doing this, or we're just going to be partying and drinking, and then at some point we'll have a beard. It's very, very low key. The beard comp is just one little part of their thing, and they make a point to say we don't take it as seriously as you Yanks do, and I'm like, well, we don't really take it that seriously either. But there's a very true point to that, is that when you make it part of an event, not the event, it seems like you end up with a lot better return on your investment of the night. It's not just, ho-hum, another beard comp. If you're able to do something different with it and make it unique. And I think that's one of the things that we strive to do this year.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like I said, we have a professional DJ. We have a professional magician. We're getting a costume. We had a costume contest last year, but it's at another level this year. The beard comp is part of it, but it is in no way, shape, or form the focus. As far as food goes, we've got, smoked pulled pork that's going to be there, Chicago Italian beef. I mean, if you're a foodie, this is the event to come to. For a lot of our guys out west, they can't get Yingling, and when we travel, we are often requested, hey, bring the Yingling with you, please. Whatever. So we talk to the event venue. We're going to have kegs of Yingling, bottles of Yingling, everything waiting for our guys that are coming in from the west. The kids, we had an orchard up in Wisconsin who donated small, beautiful little pumpkins to us. for the kids to decorate. And that's another thing, going back to the whole family concept. The pumpkins and the whole kids section, everything else, the Queens are handling that.
Yeah.
So they really stepped up to the plate and said, we're going to go ahead and take care of this. We're part of the family too. And I'm sure I'm going to forget somebody, but, Paula and Missy and Melissa and Abby and Christy, they are all stepping up and really making a big part of this event and taking ownership of something.
Yeah.
And doing that, that again just increases our success.
Yeah, that's such a unique thing. And I mean, it's not unique necessarily that the Queens involved within the local chapter, the hosting chapter, get involved, but we actually, this event allows them to actually kind of take ownership of a part of it and take, and it's to no part of any one of the women that, I mean, it's absolutely to their credit, the women that you just mentioned, and hopefully nobody else that you forgot, but I was trying to think in my head as well. This problem is sometimes when you have to make that choice, do you name one and try to name them all, or do you just blanket them and just hope? But it's completely to their credit, because not only we have family friendly events all over the place and the kids are there, but one of the things that I loved about last year was to look over and see Paula over there playing with the kids or doing activities with the kids, and the kids that were there really had a cool time. And it wasn't just sitting there watching mom and dad and watching dad at a beard comp. And, there was some things for them to do too. Mm-hmm. And I love that focus of it. And I like the fact that it's not just the Queens helping us with what we're doing. They're doing something, they're doing their thing,
right,
and they can enjoy it. And just, like you said, take ownership of something. And I love the partnership there that brings us. So,
I know last year everybody had a really good time with the scavenger hunt, because it's something else to do rather than watch just a beard comp, whatever. Right. You can get up and physically participate and win something. So again, this year the Queens are handling the scavenger hunt. That I had nothing to do with that. I know you had nothing to do. That's all them. The kids' tables, they've got a face painter coming on. I believe Melissa's going to do that. They've got tattoos for the kids. They've got prizes and toys and all kind of stuff to keep the kids entertained. They are not babysitting your children. I'm going to throw that out 100%. There right now. But they have stuff to keep the kids entertained, and that's all them. So, again, them taking ownership of that area, that gives them more of a meaning and a purpose behind the event. And, that just is a big deal.
Yeah. I just think the diversity of this event makes me so excited, because I think the people that, when I look back at what we have attended, and we've been all over the place. I mean, beyond being honest, we've been, aside from England, and Australia and Europe, really, but all over the country and, well, North America, pretty much with our Beards for Bucko. And we've seen so many different things, and we knew that we had to take ownership of a bunch of stuff that we didn't like about last year and we wanted to improve upon. And we knew that there were some things that we really liked. One of the things that, and this is such a simple thing, and you and I have had this conversation before, but one of the things that, many times before, one of the things that I hated about our event last year was the way that we handled the raffle.
That was
it was just disaster.
It took forever.
A disaster. Forever. And I'll tell you folks here, if you ever plan on doing a raffle where people buy raffle tickets and you end up getting raffle prizes from these things, let me just caution you and say, please, 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 for your sake and for the sake of everyone else present, don't ever, ever, ever do this again, where you individually call up the prize and you individually call out the number winner. If you have 20 prizes, it's terrible. If you have 40 prizes, it's amazingly, unregrettably terrible. If you do it at the end of the night when you have that many prizes, it is, oh my God, kill me now. Unforgettable. That's the problem we had last year. And you end up with people who have had to leave. And you have a third of the people that were there no longer there. And you're calling out numbers. Okay, that person's not here. Okay, you redraw. And you have to redraw in some cases 5 or 6 times before you get a winner. And it's just drug out so long. So we have seen a few chapters, but the first one I have to give credit to that we saw do this, and we're doing it this year as well. Bearded Villains, the Southern Indiana Villains, a couple years ago at Battle of the Beards started up, where they actually draw during the event. They have members draw the tickets and post the winners on a board. And then they tell you when the tickets have been drawn, you can go up and check the board for your number. So much more efficient. And you just check your numbers and it's done. And it's so, I mean,
Yeah.
I look back on what we did and it's just painful to think about.
Yeah, I think it was about an hour where we had so much stuff donated last year. It literally took an hour or longer just to get through that portion of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have your own chapter guys just standing around because they're like, what am I supposed to do? And one by one, they just bring up something to the stage and you're like, okay, now we're going to do this. And oh, God, it was painful. It was so painful. Made the night so much longer than it should have been. But we've learned, and that's one of the greatest lessons about doing these things over and over again. You learn these lessons, and so that will change. So if you did go to our event last year and you said, never again, it's going to be a lot different in that regard. So that will not even hardly be noticeable as far as part of the night goes. We will set a cutoff time, and we will say raffle tickets have to be in by this time, and then you won't even notice it, and then all of a sudden they will be posted, and then you can go check your numbers. So that's so much nicer. But it's going to be a full night of entertainment. Can you talk for a second about who our judges are that we have, if you don't mind?
We've got Mark coming down from Michigan.
Yep.
Lampshade.
Lampshade.
For those
Mark
that don't
Burns.
know.
Mark Burns.
National beard champion.
Yep.
Amazing guy. Always a good time. We've got Optimus Mendez, BVC co-cap, very well respected. And we've also got John coming up from BVIN, Barber John. For some of you guys know him, I believe it's Bearded Barber 317 on IG. Or I think that's 317. Any rate, he's coming up to judge for us. So we're going to have a professional barber. Those three guys, like I said, are very well known, very well respected within the bearded community. And I think they'll do a great job for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about it. We've got guys that actually want to do it. We're not forcing anybody to do it, and
Right.
They look forward to actually being a part of this. And they will be judging not only the beard comp but the costume contest as well. So it's extra fun in that regard. And
Yeah, I can remember being at a beard comp where one of the judges told me she doesn't like facial hair,
yeah,
and I think that was one of the contests I won, which made me be like, what? So you don't like beards and you're saying mine's okay, let's just move on.
yeah, that's a struggle for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, but so yeah, we're gonna have so just as a quick rundown of events for everybody that's curious. So we have Friday night, we have our meet and greet. In
Very laid back, very chill. We're gonna have pool tables, bags. Donnie is stepping up to the plate and making his famous chicken tacos. So yeah, that'll be a good time on Friday. Kids are welcome. Kids are welcome from the time we open till the time we close at both days at the event. Obviously, like I said, we're not babysitting, but bring your kids. They're more than welcome. My kids will be there. So yeah, that'll be a good time.
Yeah, and that's Friday night at the Moose Lodge in Hobart, Indiana. Same place that the same venue where the event's going to be the next day. And that's going to be doors opening at
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock?
On Friday, 6 o'clock.
Oh, that's the meet and greet. Yeah.
Yes.
You okay? Threw me off there. I was like, wait a minute, we didn't talk about this. So I was already on to Saturday.
So I probably should point out, just before I forget, since BP gets on his pedestal all week and talks about the amazing whiskeys he's drinking and what a connoisseur he is. And you come to his house and he offers you a Coors, just to throw that out there.
No, you can't just say Coors. It's Coors Banquet, which is the high end Coors.
That's the high end Coors. Gotcha.
It's much better than Coors Light. Coors Light is dog water. That is good beer. That is good, inexpensive beer.
Yeah,
it's
we'll,
not high end.
We'll
beer.
go with that.
It's not high end beer, but it's definitely the high end of the Coors line. It's the only one I like to drink. So Don't slam that. Otherwise, I could give you PBR. I think they're on the same par. I'm back with the PBR. So Saturday, then we move on, and Saturday doors open.
Doors open at 4 p.m.
4 p.m. And then you'll be able to just hang out, chill out for a while.
We're going to do the beard registration from 4 to 5, with the event kicking off 5:30. We should be starting the show, and there will be some big surprises, some stuff that nobody knows about, even the guys in the chapter, to kick off this, which should be exciting for everyone.
Yeah. And then, so doors open at 4. Registration is until 5. We will allow some stragglers if there needs to be time, and then everything kicks off at 5:30, and we just roll on from there. We are going to start off with the costume contest. We have 4 categories.
We do. We have kids, we have ladies, men's, and couples. Couples does not have to be male and female. It could be a mom and a son. 2 men, 2 women, doesn't matter. It just requires a minimum of 2.
However, the small caveat is their costumes have to have something to do with each other.
Correct.
Otherwise, it's not a couple. So we don't want just 2 people up there.
A zombie and the spaceman doesn't quite go together.
Yeah.
So
No, that doesn't at all. So that's the costume contest. We're gonna have an intermission, roll into the beard competition. We have 5 different categories, not the typical categories that you see, but ones that easily make sense for something like what we're doing, that gives everybody a chance, depending on what they have, with us also not having so many categories that we end up with like categories holding like 1 or 2 people.
Right.
That was important to make sure we didn't do that.
We're doing a 6 and under, then a 6 to 12, 12 and over, stylized, which is if you're putting product in your beard to make it look crazy, whatever, that's stylized, and then whiskerina.
Yeah. So we give the kids a chance. We don't have a kids beard category, but we give the kids a chance to participate by having them in the costume contest part. And then we have like you said, the whiskery and the styled is going to be interesting because that can be everything from just a mustache, a styled mustache. It could be a styled anything. You could have a whaler stuck in there too. The other ones have to be a full beard. The stylized could be basically anything you want. So that'll be a fun way to do things. And then after that intermission, then we're going to kick it into a full-on magic show. We've got a brother who is a professional magician, and most of our guys, maybe only 1 or 2 have ever seen him actually perform as a magician. So I know a lot of our guys are going to be interested to watch that. Speaking
of that, that's going to be interesting because his assistant, or who he normally performs with, I don't know if they would call him his assistant or not, is Tim from Northern Indiana, and he is currently down in Florida supporting hurricane relief. So we appreciate everything he does. He's down there and working in terrible conditions to try to make things better for other people. So it's definitely everything BV stands for. He's getting it done right now. Unfortunately for us, it affects our event because Tim was so involved.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, he was basically told you're going to be driving a truck down which had wash machines, like rows of wash machines built into it. Have you ever been to a concert and you see like the rows of bathrooms on a trailer? This was a row of wash machines on a trailer. Thinking he's delivering it, he's coming home. And he gets down there and he's coming and says, oh, by the way, you're there till this is done.
Yeah.
He didn't even have a suitcase with him. He had basically a change of clothes for a day trip. And just drive there, drive back. That was the plan. And he gets down there and finds out he's been there since the hurricane at this point. So in September.
Yeah, the week after the hurricane.
Yeah.
He's going on 3 weeks now, isn't it? I think.
Or a little longer, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. We guys have jobs, and you can't really. It's not like you can just up and go screw the job. And it's an important job, and it's important for him to be there. And as much as he wants to be here with us, that's been another one of those little things that we've had to adapt to as well, because he was so integral in our planning stages, in those final planning stages, with some of the physical acts of what he was doing in the preparation, not to mention the fact that he was going to be assisting John with the DJ MC duties for the night and
Right.
Having to pivot on that. So since he's not going to be able to be there, obviously we've had to pivot, and he will be missed drastically. Hopefully he'll be able to tune in, and we'll maybe do something.
Hopefully we were hoping we can get him in live and maybe even get him up on stage on a screen or something.
Yeah.
Because he really is he's putting in the work down there.
Yeah.
And I respect the hell out of him for doing that. And, it's time away from your family. And let's face it, the conditions you're in are not great. So, he's killing it.
It's not a vacation.
He's doing what we say in BV, what we're about, and he's down there doing it. So good for him.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and let's see, touch on a couple other things on the event. We are going to have a group flag shoot. However, we're going to pivot on that a little bit because we're not going to have a typical flag shoot. We have an event flag, a very large event flag that we're going to have, and it'll be exciting because it's going to be an all hands on deck photo that we're going to have there. So everybody that's there will be allowed to be in this photo. It doesn't matter what your status, rank, or club is. We want everybody there. So we want everybody in their costumes in this photo. It'll be a really cool time. And it's not going to be a black flag shoot photo thing to worry about. So we would just want everybody to be a part of it and enjoy the time. So
now we will have the black flag there. And if people want individual pictures, that's something that you come up and talk to BP.
Or Ed.
I'll throw BP under the bus on that one. But come up and talk to me. As long as you're a patched villain, we can accommodate that. But for the main flag shoot, there is no way I'm going to line up and watch people try to herd cats into, are you a hopeful? Are you patched? Are you this? Wait a second, you're this. You got to go. Forget it.
No.
Everybody get in the picture. Kids, grandma, bring her in, roll her in. I don't care.
Yep.
Get in the picture. Let's get it done. Tall people in the back, short people in the front. We've all done this before. It should take 30 seconds. Bam, we're done and we're over it.
Yep. Be a good, memorable time, good, memorable photo for the night. Everybody in costume, beards aplenty. It'll be a great time. So, man, we've been talking for a bit. Is there you have any final words that you'd like to include or say?
I do.
About the event.
Actually, I do, and it's just something we've talked about as officers in our chapter, and I'm going to preach a second here.
You have the mic, sir.
And one of the things I noticed, and I've noticed, we travel a lot. Our chapter is really a very well-traveled chapter. We have several guys that if it's an event, we're going to be there. If you're hosting an event, get up and talk to people. And the reason I say that is it's there are a lot of guys, I've been up to, like I said, we've been to East Coast meet. We've been up to Canada. And there are a lot of guys who don't necessarily come and talk to you. And when you're the guest, you're not sure how to respond to that. Maybe this guy just doesn't like me. And if you don't like me, that's fine. There's lots of people that don't like me. I'll get over it. But, when someone comes to your house, like I always try to tell our guys within the chapter, if somebody walks through my front door, I don't sit on the couch and ignore them. If somebody comes through my front door, I get up, I welcome them to my home. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to have a good time. It's important to make people feel that. And it's one of the things that's regretful because as much as you and I do travel, we sometimes miss out on meeting some very cool people until after the fact. They'll be like, oh, hey, they'll send you a message on IG. It's like, you literally could have had a beer with me a day ago. And instead you just stayed away or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it sucks when you're like, well, and hopefully I'll see you next year.
Yeah.
After, you're going to start talking after you had that opportunity to make that in-person connection. I don't care how BV started, at least for me personally, and I know for Northern Indiana, we are not an Instagram club.
Right.
Period. We are an in-person. We want to be with our brothers. We want to have a good time. Grant, you still do the social media stuff, whatever, but we are not a social media club. Yep. We are, especially and I tell you, our chapter is 100% not a social media chapter.
Yeah.
We want to be out with each other in the real world. So come up and say hi. My guys are going to come up and say hi. I'm going to annoy the hell out of people this weekend, making sure everybody's having a good time. So that's the biggest thing I would preach from. Like I said, we travel a lot, and you do have those guys. I've had guys be like, well, I didn't want to bother you.
Yeah.
I'm in your house. You make the rules here. Come bother me,
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. And it's sad when you hear, like you said, those people come up to you later after the fact or reach out to you after the fact. And you're like, dude, and as a matter of fact, we've had conversations where we tell our guys when we go as a big group to another event, we tell our guys, I may not see you once we get there. I may not see you for a couple hours because I'm going to be doing other things. And I want you to go talk to everybody else. I don't want us to be sitting at a table by ourselves the entire night, just being our thing. We see each other all the time as is. We already see ourselves. I will take this opportunity to meet these guys from other chapters, other countries in some cases.
Yeah, I don't have to drive to Niagara Falls to hang out with guys from Indiana. If I'm driving to Niagara Falls, I want to hang out with people from Canada. I want to meet new people.
Yeah.
Same thing with all, Nash Vegas. I don't want to just hang. We went to Miami.
Yeah.
You want to hang out with the guys that you don't get to see every day. Now, that doesn't mean ditch your brothers, because of course we're not going to do that. But if I see, Puzzle and Buddy as an example, they're coming up. And I see them maybe 4 or 5 times a year tops.
Yep.
So I guarantee you, as soon as I see them, it's a beeline straight to them. And that's just because your time with them is so limited. So, again, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Make those friends. Make those in-person connections. It's so much better.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to leave this interview. That's perfect. All right.
Sit here and enjoy my course.
Sit there and enjoy your good beer for the rest of this here thing. So I want to thank Ed for taking some time with us tonight. And
wait.
Uh-oh.
We forgot something.
I forgot to mute his mic.
You did. But I just
too
got to
late
do
now.
a little.
He's already unmuted.
A little. If you can bring me back on my camera, we might have a little patch here.
All right.
We might have a little pin.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. You've seen the pictures of the pin.
Really
and the
big
patch.
medallion.
Yep.
The patches for sure will be for sale at the event. They are numbered, limited edition 1 through 150. And for those of you that ordered the World Tour t-shirts, they are in.
They are in. They will be shipping in the next couple of days for sure. All right. Promo. Well, thank you, Ed, for being here. I appreciate it, man. It's always a good time.
Absolutely.
Good to have you in studio
Thanks
on
for
the
having
microphone
me
for the
and
first
for giving
time.
me this wonderful beer.
Yes, there you go. It's wonderful beer. We can have some hard stuff after the
Sounds like
air,
a plan.
After the air goes, and you can have somebody else drive you home, I guess. All right, guys. Let's do this and get into this thing real quick. If you are looking for an all-natural beard oil that will not only tame your beard and coarse hairs, but make your beard soft and smell amazing, check out Pulpo Beard Oils. Veteran-owned and made for today's beards, Pulpo beard products combine the best beard ingredients on the market with incredible customer service to ensure your happiness. Whether you need beard wash, beard oil, beard balm, or some fun clothing, Pulpo is the place to go. Feel fresh, feel savage, feel confident with Pulpo Beard Oils. Go to Pulpo Beard Oils, that's Pulpo beardoils.com, and use the code The Heart of a Villain for a discount on your order. All right. Well, guys, let's get into our calendar of events for this upcoming, several weeks anyway. See where things are going to take us. First up, well, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot in all of my preparation for having this, for getting things ready for tonight, I forgot to bring my iPad downstairs that has all of my calendar of events information on it. So here we go. Got it on my phone as well. Moving on. All right, this weekend, guys. October 22nd. This weekend over in Utah is BV Utah is hosting the Villains Night. Villains Night, hosted by BV Utah. It's at Handlebar 751 North 300 West in Salt Lake City. They have a beard competition, costume contest. They are raising funds for Family Place Utah. That's Villains Night, October 22nd. BV Utah is your host in Salt Lake City. We were just talking about it here this weekend also in Northern Indiana. The Return of Ezra Crow, hosted by Bearded Villains Northern Indiana. It's in Hobart at the Hobart Moose Lodge. The address, of course, is 143 South Hobart Road in Hobart, Indiana. It's a beard competition. It's a costume contest. It's a magic show. Raffles, all sorts of other prizes, all sorts of other entertainment possibilities, some really great food. Don't miss it. Come. Come, have some fun with us. It's going to be a blast. November 12th, we have Beards Away, hosted by BV Virginia. Details forthcoming on that. November 12th, Beards Away. December 2nd and 3rd is Jingle Beards. Jingle Beards hosted by BV Nova. So we only have a few things left this year, guys, right now. I know I'm missing something, a thing or two here. Let me check my books here. See what else I've got. Nope, that's it. After this weekend's events, I just have Beards Away on the weekend of November 12th, and Jingle Beards. So I know I'm missing some other stuff, guys, but hit me up if I am missing yours, and we'll take it on and add it to the calendar, guys. You know what time it is? It's gonna be that time. It's that time. We're gonna kick things off into 158 next week. But for now, this is going to wrap up episode 157. I want to challenge all of you guys, as I always do, to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. Guys, the most important words I say every week to you all, please remember them well. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. Well, guys, that's it. That's a wrap. Episode 157 in the books. See you back here next week for episode 158. Until then, take care. Stay safe.
Heart of a villain, bro. Lights, camera, action. From the start to the finish, go hard and we win. And it's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard.